Hello and welcome to the Mustang Seat webinar. Thank you guys all for joining us. So this webinar is co-sponsored, I should say, by Mustang and Cruiser Customizing. And the three people you're going to be hearing from today are going to be Kyle Bradshaw from Cruiser Customizing, Marilyn Simmons. Marilyn, would you like to say hello?
Hi everybody, thank you for joining us.
And if you could give us a brief 1 or 2 sentence description of what you do there for Mustang?
Well, I've been here since we started in 1980, and I've done a little bit of everything, but right now I'm in charge of everything involving marketing, shows and advertising, webinars, anything you can think of.
That's great. And also on this webinar, we're going to have Matt Coleman from Mustang Seats. Matt, welcome.
Hi, how is everybody tonight?
Doing really good. So what is your role there at Mustang, Matt?
I've been here for just over 20 years, and currently I'm the sales manager here at Mustang.
Beautiful. I guess I skipped over kind of my role here at Cruiser Customizing. I've been with the company just over 9 years. I'm in charge of really product promotion. So how can we get people the most information so they can make the most informed buying decisions? Real quick, Carissa is on the other end as well. Carissa's here in the office with me. She's going to be helping me direct this event. So she's going to be running surveys and polls and all kinds of fun stuff like that. So if you can shoot Carissa any questions you have as far as if you can't hear your speakers or you're having a problem hearing one of the panelists, shoot that question over to Carissa and she'll be able to, behind the scenes, give you guys a hand. Thank you, Carissa. So here's our first quiz question, not quiz question, but just kind of get the lay of the land. So we're kind of curious, what type of seat do you ride on? Now Chris is going to pop a quiz, that poll question up, and you'll be able to see that question, answer that question appropriately, and then in a minute we'll be able to see exactly where everyone sits on this. Okay, while we're taking that poll, let's jump ahead real quick to the table of contents. So tonight we're going to learn about the history of Mustang motorcycle seats. We're going to take you through the step-by-step process of how a Mustang seat is made. We're going to talk about what makes a Mustang seat different than other seats in the market. We're then going to roll really quickly through different Mustang products, seat styles, products that go really well with seats such as driver backrest, luggage, stuff like that. We're then going to go to the drawing of a seat. So everyone in attendance tonight is going to have the opportunity to be entered into the drawing, and Carissa will pull that name and will announce the winner of that seat. At that time, we're also going to show a slide that will have a special coupon code that will allow you to have some significant savings at the end of this webinar, and it's only good for 24 hours. I don't know that you'll see another offer like that anywhere for a Mustang seat this year.
The polls are in.
And what do we have there, Carissa?
Well, it looks like 76% of those in attendance are currently riding on a stock or OEM seat. 12% are on a Mustang seat. 5% on a Corbin. Okay, so now we're back to what we're doing. So who is Mustang Seats? Marilyn B., since you've been around since the beginning of Mustang Seats, if you could give us a little bit of history there on the company, that'd be great.
First, in full disclosure, obviously my last name is also Simmons, but Al Simmons is my brother, not my husband. Want to make sure everyone knows that. But my brother Al started the company in 1980. He started as a small custom building shop. And there were about 3 or 4 of us back then, and it's been growing for 32 years. But we did start very small, and we all took turns doing a little bit of everything. Al's background was as an engineer, mechanical engineer, and he and everyone in my family rode bikes. Al was into motocross and, of course, street riding and trials and flat tracking. So we were into motorcycles, and then he got into motorcycle seats.
Now, when it comes to Mustang and the 3 pillars of success, Matt, as the sales manager, you talk about Mustang seats quite a bit, and you like to really give people features and benefits. So can you touch on this one for us?
There's, as you can see from the slide there, we have 3 pillars of success. Quality, comfort, and style. The quality starts right in our factory in Three Rivers, Massachusetts. And everything is done in-house, all under one roof. We start with our design team, R&D, and it flows right through to right where it ships out.
That's awesome. So hey Marilyn, over the years you guys have traditionally served who as a market?
Well, we probably started predominantly with Harley, but over the last quarter of a century, time flies, our sales are really split Harley and Metric Cruisers. So we like to stick with what we know best. We do make some seats for Victory, but predominantly Harley-Davidson and all metric cruisers.
So I had the unique opportunity to go out to Mustang a couple years ago and actually go through the factory and actually create a Mustang seat. And I've got to say, I was absolutely floored that 99% of the Mustang seat process is all done by hand. So here we're going to walk through some of the stuff. So let's talk a little bit about R&D. I don't know which one of you want to pick this up and run with it, but how would you guys describe your R&D department?
Well, the first thing we do is we get the bike in that we're interested in building a seat for and take off the stock or OEM seats. We really set it aside and start with the bike without the seat and build it in the way we think it should be built. The only thing we have to do is make sure the front mounting and the rear mounting or side mounts fit just like stock. Other than that, we're on our own with our own design team.
Now, of course, Al likes to call these seats the world's most comfortable motorcycle seat. You get that from a couple different pieces: the base plate or seat pan, the main foam, top foam, and seat cover. So Matt, what can you tell us about the Mustang seat pan or base plate that makes Mustang different from others out there?
Whether you get it in fiberglass or steel, the biggest difference you'll notice is if you flip our seat over, you'll notice where you sit, whether you're the rider or the passenger, it's going to be completely flat in that area. If you flip your OEM seat over, it's 9 times out of 10 they're going to be built on an ABS plastic form, and they're going to have ridges and bumps in that area, and that's one of the problems that OEMs gives when you get that hot spot or hard spots that develop. It's because of what's going on all the way down on that base plate. So when we flatten that area out, you've already improved the seat 10 times compared to that of a stock seat.
Now, when I was in the factory, we went ahead and made a fiberglass base plate. So what happens is Al and I are here, we're picking out a mold. And as you can see in that top picture there, that is a mold or what you lay the fiberglass on top of. We then sprayed it with gel coat. We then blasted fiberglass onto it, applied the resin, trimmed off the edges, and then knocked that base plate off of the mold. We then sand down the edges, drilled some holes, and then this is a part of the process that I was actually pretty intrigued with. Lots of seats in the aftermarket world, or even your stock seat, can get rips and tears along the seams or the edges down there at the base plate. Can you explain this process here a little bit, Marilyn?
Sure. Even though we really sand down the edges of a fiberglass base plate or even a steel base plate, we do both. With the lip of the cover going around it and being secured with the rivets, obviously it has to be protected there because you don't want wear and tear and a split in the cover. So we go to the extra step of putting really nice thick trim that Kyle did a great job. He had to hammer it on a little bit, and that really protects the cover so you won't have any cover splitting when they're wrapped around the bottom of the seat.
So that's just one thing I like to point out, is just that they don't spare anything. It's all down to the details, and even the stuff that you're never going to see as an end user, they go ahead and put those things in there just to make sure that the seat's perfect. Now, the seat foam. I was amazed at how little foam actually goes into that mold before we close it up and let it sit. So really quick, another poll question. Carissa's going to go ahead and pop this one up there. How many hours do you spend in the saddle before your butt gets sore? Having gone to rallies and shows, Marilyn and Matt, as far as the general consumer that comes in and talks to you guys at the booth, what do you think the common answer is going to be here?
I would guess 2 to 3.
Of course, it depends what they're riding on.
Sure.
Very true.
Once they leave the show with a Mustang Seat, it's going to be a lot better. And it's amazing. I should just say here that people think that when you ride a motorcycle, you should expect to be uncomfortable. You know, we've been trying to change that with our marketing and advertising, that you really can be comfortable and ride a motorcycle. Because why do we ride motorcycles? For fun. You know, very few have it as that 100% of their transportation. So we ride bikes for fun, and if it hurts, it's not fun.
That's definitely a key point. I mean, for years I rode motorcycles with really uncomfortable seats. And, you know, after having an opportunity to try some of these aftermarket seats out, especially Mustang, it's amazing the difference that they make.
All right, Carissa, how are we looking?
Good. I actually already popped the results while you guys were talking.
It looks like Matt was pretty close.
Good job, Matt. 1 to 2 hours, 60% of you guys say that you experience uncomfortableness in the saddle.
So the foam we went ahead and poured into the mold, we closed it up, and then we opened it probably about a half hour later, I guess. And you basically get this piece of foam that has all these wiggly edges on it that need to be trimmed off. And then this is legitimately the heart or the center of the Mustang seat. Is there anything you guys want to share as far as that foam process or anything special about your foam?
Well, our foam is a real proprietary recipe, although it's chemical composition. We don't share that with anyone, and we didn't even tell Kyle what really goes into the foam. But it's a combination of open and closed cell molecules, because there's all different kinds of foam. You can have foam which a huge sponge that you could compress to nothing, versus foam you'd have on a life jacket, which you can barely compress at all. So the secret is getting the exact right combination. It's not something that we take a hunk of foam and carve it to the right side. We actually create the foam and have a different mold for every seat style out there.
Okay, so moving on along the process, this here is a slide of a durometer, and this is what Mustang uses to periodically check and make sure that that special mixture of foam is correct. And I guess this is probably the only truly automated process in the entire Mustang process that I saw anyway, and that was the actual cutting of the patterns of the seat. So if you take a look at this particular picture, you have the seat cutting machine there on the lower right-hand corner. Basically, the vinyl's laid out and put into a computer system that then has all the pieces mapped out in the perfect way to lay them out to optimize efficiency, and then the machine just zaps it.
You know, for years and years we cut them out by hand with scissors, but with a computerized system we can do several layers of the vinyl at a time, and we save a lot of vinyl doing it that way. It's just so much more efficient. And here's Kyle learning how to sew.
Sewing was it wasn't a challenge, but it was definitely something that took some time to get used to.
Yeah, we have a great team of seamstresses, and sewing the vinyl is a lot harder than making a dress. It's a lot of handwork.
It's like we're here to the next poll. When in the saddle for hours, my blank gets sore. Of course, you have several different options there. So Chris is going to pop that poll, and we should be able to see some interesting results there.
So once the cover is sewn, the foam's been done, and the base plate's been made, it basically goes into now the assembly process, where glue is applied to both the pan and the foam. And then in the right-hand side, you can see that the glue is now being applied to the top of the foam. Matt, can you give us a better description that I'm going to come up with for what that top foam is and what it does?
The top foam is what we call it's a poly foam. It's not really where you're getting the comfort of the seat, but it's what helps give that softer feel when you first originally sit on the seat. And it actually helps us put the covers on and form the seat to the pan as well. But the actual comfort is from the foam that you've poured a couple steps previously.
So once the top foam gets laid on, the cover gets spread over, it then gets riveted to the base plate or the pan. The hardware then gets attached, and then it goes to quality control, where the seat's inspected, the labels are put on, and the instructions.
And I like to say that the gals that were doing the quality control were spot on. There were a couple things that needed to be fixed on the seat that I made, but they didn't let anything slip. Even though it was a seat that I was making as a demo and then sending to our company for us to install and demo on, it was nothing's going to get through here without being 100% perfect.
Would you like to see the results?
Yes, please. Thank you, Carissa.
50% butt.
50% butt, 35% back. Interesting.
And that's where obviously we have nothing to do with your hands and arms, but your butt is the pressure going down, so our foam takes care of that. And the back, we really try to get your butt to sit into the seat and have lower back support. obviously the right position. You then have a little crook in your arm when you have your arms out to the handlebars, but we are butt and back fixers.
Now, I'd like to touch a little bit on the back aspect of that. On the majority of Mustang seats, you can add a driver backrest that then gets integrated into the seat, can be removed, adjusted, made to go to the perfect point. That backrest is a lifesaver when it comes to providing that back comfort on long rides.
You really need to have support in the lower part of your back, and just like everyone's mom told you when you were little, sit up straight. And so our seats try to get your pelvis at the right angle so you can sit up straight and relieve the stress on your back muscles and spine.
So then you ship the seats to the consumer, and they get a chance to sit on them. So other than seats, Matt, what is the main selling item that you guys have?
Well, the driver backrest kits on the FL touring models, and then as well as our matching sissy bar pads, run a close second, and then the accessories such as the tank and fender bibs, which are available with the studs or plain that will complement the seat, would be coming in a close third.
Now, as far as tank and fender bibs, what are some of the most common uses or reasons that people install these on their bikes?
Some people install it just for the look, because it's a continuation. It helps the lines of the bike, particularly if you have a solo seat and you want the fender bib. It really has a nice line from the tank to the seat to the fender, like that picture on the right-hand side. Some people use them because they have some scratches or a dent and they want to cover it up, so that's a really good artistic way of covering up flaws on your tank or your fender.
So moving on in the accessory line, we have luggage and we have saddlebags. We have seen a huge hit with the Mustang covered hard saddlebags as a great way to really tie the bags to the seat, to the fender bib, to the tank bib. Kind of finishes everything out there. What are some things you guys also like to highlight in this?
Our wraparound arms extend a little bit more around you, and they're higher, 2 inches more on either side, and they're a little more, I guess they're up a little bit. So instead of having your arms go down, they're a lot more comfortable for the passenger. So we sell a lot of those too.
Hey Matt, is there anything you have in the pipeline coming down that you'd like to let out of the bag, or is that not allowed to be talked about yet?
Well, yeah, we're working on, it hasn't been released like Kyle said, but there will be a matching accessory to the hard covered saddlebags that you're seeing in the lower left there. It'll be a covered trunk that'll match that, and that we expect to be released this summer, so it'll be coming.
So here's a quick slide of the current styles of Mustang seats, or some of the most popular ones. We've got the wide touring, sport touring, day tripper. Now, as makers of the Mustang seat, I have a question. How do you guys go about getting the end user the perfect seat for their application?
Well, we have, for any make, model, year, we have a pretty good variety of seats, whether you just want a solo or you want a solo with the driver backrest. You want a solo with the rear seat for the passenger, or a one-piece seat. The two-piece seats, you can have a lot of permutations, riding as a solo with the driver backrest, solo in the rear seat. It's nice to be able to mix and match. And a lot of people out there contact us and tell us they actually have a couple Mustang seats. They have one for driving around town and one for long trips, so they can really instantly change the whole look of their bike. I do want to mention here that we take extra special care for passenger comfort. Women know that whether you're a driver or the passenger, the passenger seat has to be comfortable.
So here's just a pretty good recap on why consumers usually choose a Mustang seat. Matt and Marilyn, you want to touch on these real quick?
Well, we've certainly been around for now 32 years, and you'd think that maybe some OEM people would be listening to this and taking notes and making seats as good as Mustang, but it hasn't happened yet in 32 years. So we're learning more and designing even better and better seats every year, but we've become the world leader from starting very small and just concentrating on quality and comfort. And definitely, I know I think Kyle's sitting out in California, but we're here in New England. Our manufacturing facility is here in Massachusetts. So we are very proud to be made in the USA.
Now, we have a really exciting thing to do right now, and that is to give away a Mustang seat. Carissa, you ready for that?
Yep, give me one moment. Mix up the bag a little bit. And our grand prize winner is Gary Ring.
Yeah, Gary.
Would you like me to put him on live?
Yeah, if he's there.
Gary, are you there?
I'm here.
Hey, Gary, congratulations. You're the winner of a new Mustang seat.
What do you ride, Gary?
We need 2003 Dyna.
Oh, Dyna, great. Well, we have a lot of different seats for that. So.
I appreciate it. I'm excited.
So what seat in particular have you been looking at there, Gary?
I was looking at a vintage Solo.
Beautiful. Thanks for joining us tonight.
Congratulations.
Okay, thanks.
I have a pretty large list of questions here. Do you want me to start unmuting people as we go?